Is MusclePharm finally embracing the fact that they are a protein company now? So, many of you that closely follow MusclePharm might have seen the recent press release that stated the company is expanding into the ready to drink protein category with the launch of its new whey protein drink line in the summer of 2022. This is a bit of a what took you so long kind of moment, at least for me. You guys might remember from previous content that I've been advocating for Muscle Farm to essentially kind of ditch the pursuit of the energy drinks market and focus on protein beverages. Here's just like a little bit of a recap of those thoughts. Though Muscle Farm at one time was known for its energy product, from a powdered standpoint with a salt, Muscle Farm has let that category leadership die and crushed any product equity. Now, I understand the allure of the energy drinks category for Muscle Farm. If you think about it's a US market that is about 3 times the size of the protein RTD market. It's not attached to a commodity and a low margin item like protein, and it has about 2 times the categorical growth rate to protein RTDs. So out of the two that Muscle Farm has any authority, I guess, to launch in the market, it makes sense on the surface to launch energy drinks. But all that being said, Muscle Farm is a protein centric brand now, and it really should be focusing on building out and extending the combat SKU family into a refined product architecture that fits the brand's maturity. So let's kind of expand a bit on those previous comments and start with what we know about the Muscle Farm RTD protein beverage. The new protein beverage line will be marketed under the Muscle Farm brand. There was no real comment on what the product name will be, but it would be downright kind of silly if it didn't piggyback off the Combat Protein SKU family. Now, I'm not a fan of all the dilution Muscle Farm has done to the Combat product equity by attaching it to pretty much every category, like the energy drinks, and really like confusing customers. But regardless of that, you can't do a protein RTD and not call it Combat, right? The product is said to contain over 20 grams of protein, be sugar free, and will be available in multiple flavors. 30 grams of protein was kind of the standard amount in these protein beverages for a long time, but more recent launches from Ghost and Alani Nu have settled into the 20 to 25 range. I think Muscle Farm will probably settle in that as well. And while functionality is important, flavor is really king in any of these beverage formats. And the CEO, Ryan Drexler, did state they have created the best tasting, ready to drink protein product on the market.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
If I had to guess, I would assume the packaging on these will be a plastic bottles and not the Tetra Pak. And really, two reasons for that guess is that one, all contract manufacturing line time for the protein beverages is really tight, but those that can do the Tetra Pak packaging is even tighter. And then secondly, Muscle Farm beverage team is focusing on DSD distribution and those partners like plastic bottles because the pallets can generally be stacked without product damages. That's kind of all we know, and really that I can assume based off that short press release. For longtime Muscle Farm fans or followers, you might remember that this isn't the first protein beverage the company had launched. The product was called Cocoa Protein. They dubbed it Nature's Recovery Drink, and it was essentially coconut water base with milk protein. The product was actually quite good, at least the product that I tasted and I can remember from back then, but it never really built too much momentum at Muscle Farm. I think the reasoning was really twofold to that. Firstly, part of it has to do with the fact that the company also launched protein bars in 2014, and that product format quickly took off for the company. And then, secondly, they didn't use the Combat product name, and that Combat product name had a ton of strong product equity in the market at the time. I say that story for basically providing context, but I don't think this upcoming protein RTD beverage from MusclePharm will utilize coconut water, and hell, maybe it won't even be called Combat. I do think that the simplistic cocoa protein product has a place in the market, and I wouldn't be surprised if previous CEO and MusclePharm founder Brad Pyatt looks to create a vegan or plant based version under his new plant fuel brand. Before I end with some final thoughts, I want to shift the commentary into one last area that I talked about in that earlier content clip that I shared. This is around building out a hero SKU strategy around combat through a price pack architecture that fits its current brand maturity and Muscle Farm being a protein company. Price pack architecture is a strategy to provide consumers with a viable selection of products that meet their needs at the price points they're willing to pay, driving portfolio growth and enhancing a brand's overall value proposition in the outlets where they shop for any given purchase occasion. This is no simple task, and really in the sports nutrition industry, Nutrabolt has done maybe one of the best jobs at price pack architecture with their Cellucor C4 Energy product line. They have a good, better, best versions of their powders. They have the energy drinks, they have energy shots, they have other innovative impulse formats. There's really no reason why Muscle Farm shouldn't be looking at them for strategic inspiration. In a recent investor presentation, Muscle Farm talked a bit about core business news that showed a messy snippet version of price pack architecture. Muscle Farm could easily create a good, better, best versions of their protein powders. They are obviously launching protein RTDs, and they could easily kind of relaunch some of their ready to eat options like protein bars and protein candies. This would also need to accompany a renaming of the energy drinks and any other non protein SKUs so the Combat product name can be again well defined in the market like it was in the early 2010s. This is really a large scale and a long term strategic ask for a company that hasn't been able to find its footing in the market over the last several years. Just want to end on some quick final thoughts. You are kind of likely wondering if I think this protein RTD strategy will end up working out for Muscle Farm. But because of my previous working relationship, I'm going to kind of sidestep that question and sort of answer an adjacent question on if this is the right timing. There are obviously kind of puts and calls to answering this question. The protein beverage category is growing strong right now across all channels, and the competitive landscape is softer if we're talking about this relative to, say, energy drinks and maybe just about every kind of powdered supplement SKU. That being said, protein input prices are kind of through the roof right now. Labor is pinched across all manufacturing sectors. Overall capacity and line time associated with protein beverages is extremely tight. We also have a good chance of an upcoming recession from the yield curve inverting, and that will make capital harder to come by when Muscle Farm will need it if this product ends up being successful and it scales. I'll just say that so much of life is not about whether something is good or bad or right or wrong, it's just about timing. If you enjoyed this YouTube video, hit the like button to support me. Also, help me get to my short term goal of 2,000 subscribers by hitting that subscribe button. I'd love to see you join me on this journey, but we need to fix the fact that slightly more than 80% of you that are watching this YouTube video right now are not subscribed to my channel, and that makes me extremely sad. But do want to thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.